Since we saw you last, we spent some time in Tucson. We got to check out some awesome hiking trails, catch up with Laundry, meet some new friends, and hang out with some of our old friends.
Then, at the recommendation of many YouTube commenters and Instagram peoples, we checked out the Pima Air and Space Museum. Coming from Canada, we have F-18s always on display at the air shows there, but many of the other F-14 and F-15 and B-29, all those historic planes, we don't really get to see too much. So, being an aviation nut as a kid, building lots of those plastic models, it was really neat to be able to see them in person and get a sense of the scale of some of those planes. They've got super guppy and big tankers, air-to-air refueling tankers, and all kinds of neat stuff. Well worth the $15 or whatever it cost us to get in.
After that, we headed out to Empire Ranch to meet up with one of our Instagram friends, and he had some of his friends come out, and they had a side-by-side buggy that we got to drive around for a little bit, and that was quite a fun experience for us because we've never owned any ATVs.
Unless this counts as an ATV, I guess. Chatted with Laurie, who spent his career in the big truck business, and he taught me an enormous amount about tires and tire pressure. First of all, most tires come with tire inflation charts that tell you the PSI to run at a certain load. So these tires, I didn't realize, they say 90 PSI max, and so I was running them slightly less, maybe 70 PSI, 70 or 80. But the ride quality was super harsh, and then airing down from 20 psi back up to 80 would take far too long with our little compressor, and so I didn't air down, as you saw in our last video, if I could help it. And so the takeaway, what he taught me that I feel is priceless, is this distance from here to here, measured in millimeters, divided by 0.9, 90% of that should be this distance from the ground to the rim here. And so we've done that, and we're actually down to about 40 psi. The ride quality has improved enormously, and it only takes about 5 to 6 minutes to air up from 20 back up to 40, you know, if I need to air them down for sand or what have you. So I can't thank you enough for that, Laurie.
From there, we headed to Phonix, where we met up with Bevan, who's converting a medium-duty ambulance into an Overlander.
He's actually bolting up MRAP axles underneath that thing, so it'll be a pretty mean off-road machine once he's got it going. Bevan was very gracious to receive a bunch of Amazon packages for us and other shipments we had coming in, as well as hosting us in the driveway while we installed a water filter. We've wanted to get a water filter installed for a long time, but we always had good water from home, so it wasn't a high priority. But we filled a few times here on this trip with campsite water or whatever tap water we could get, and some of it was pretty chlorine-y, so it was time to get a filter installed, and we went with this 3-stage filter with a UV sterilizer for the 4th stage. Call it that. So,
nice to have the UV for being Baja bound here.
The water tastes phenomenal, so well worth the $100 and some bucks we bought it for.
After that, we headed over to Quartzsite, and it was kind of interesting to see how many long-term travelers are staying here. But we went a little further, maybe about 30 kilometers away from the town, and hung out with M&M Overland. They were quite inspirational to us when we first started looking for doing a build. We saw these really amazing off-road trails that they were doing, like the White Rim, and it was inspiring to us. So it was great to have an opportunity to chat and share some stories and do some potlucks together.
Yep, they've been showing us all their little favorite hideaway spots in the area. where we're the only ones here, as you can maybe tell. The weather's been really good. We had one day of rain, but otherwise we're in the sun, fully charged by 11:30. We're actually even running our electric heater just because we have a surplus of solar. So it's been nice.
Yeah. And from here, we're hoping to head towards Mexico. We don't have a solid timeline yet, but in the next couple of weeks we'll be crossing over, so we hope that you will stay tuned. I know this isn't the most exciting video, but we did want to give you a little update about what we're doing.
Thanks so much for always watching. We'll catch you guys next time.